boys. We're back after a great week of football. How are we
Yeah,
feeling,
bro.
boys?
That
I
was
feel
a
straight up depressed, I'll just be honest. Straight up depressed.
it's
What?
it's 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 a rough one for a lot of people
Hmm.
today.
Yeah, I was crying in my pillow last night. Not gonna lie. I've stayed off all social media, all video and sports media, and I think I'm gonna keep it that way until hopefully I wake up next Monday and Baltimore's beat the living crap out of KC.
I
Let's
don't
put
think
it
you
that
have it
way.
as bad as the I don't think you have it as bad as the guy that got the tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. I don't know why. Like he got the tattoo the day before the game that the Bills Super Bowl champions, and then they
It's
lose.
it's wild, man. That either either that's really gutsy or you're just a moron to do
Yeah.
something like that.
Just to get into our divisional round, I think it went pretty much to script. I know there's a couple close games, fun games, but I thought it went pretty much close to script.
Yeah, I think everything was close except for one, the Baltimore Houston,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
went according to the script pretty much.
Hmm. Yep. It's just so I don't know if you guys have any comments on the other games. The Detroit game, I never thought that Detroit was gonna lose that game. So even though it looked close, they just I'm a believer in them now more. So when the crowd got into it, I'm just like that home field, like for them, it matters. Like they
That
changed that game.
yeah, that crowd was crazy, eh?
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I thought Detroit was gonna win that game. I thought the Eagles just laid an egg, didn't show up, so I'm not too surprised that they lost that game.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I mean, I've got these guys riding it all the way to the Super Bowl. So that's not changing after how it's been with these guys so far.
yeah, the Detroit's making you look good. Yeah, San Francisco was, a little iffy with Green Bay. Green Bay should have won that game. Um, if we're just jumping through games, Green Bay had that game won. They drove up and down the field. They just a young team made some mistakes, couldn't capitalize in the red zone, and that might be the domino that San Francisco needed. A close game, come from behind win, and that might roll them straight to the Super Bowl.
Love's looking good, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
we got into a little conversation with Love being a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he's there yet, but yeah, he's definitely got the potential. That team
Yeah, no,
looks
I wasn't
pretty good.
saying he's a top 10 quarterback right now. I'm saying his potential is that
Sorry, yeah,
top 10.
potential. Yeah, the potential. I'm gonna give it to you after that performance and this run that he had this year, especially after week 11. Yeah, he really showed something. So he's
Yeah,
definitely got the
and
potential.
yeah, and I think based on that potential, you're gonna see like the team start putting pieces around him too,
Yeah,
right? If he had like one or two more competent guys around him, that game could have gone very differently.
Yeah. It it's one of those things where they overachieved in a good way. So this will give them confidence to build around him for the future.
Oh yeah, 100%.
so let me just quickly fill in this bracket just as we're speaking. We had
Okay,
San Francisco, Detroit.
before we get into the next two games, we'll just quickly hit on the game last night, the Bills
Well,
KC game.
let's talk about that right now.
I'll let you guys start off with that because that's what everyone wants
I,
to talk
I
about.
think we should before we get into
Oh, you guys are breaking up over here. I may have lost you guys. I may have
the
officially lost you guys. Oh, Zoom's not looking hot right now.
and then the other thing I will say where I don't know how I feel about this, but there was 2 calls there on Josh Allen that I feel like if it happened to Mahomes, he gets those calls, roughing the passer calls. And Josh didn't get them, and I'm like, if he gets those are first downs, and then, you know,
It definitely
I feel
changes the game. The
like,
field position, 15 yards is huge. But look, he had Diggs wide open. I don't know if you guys remember. He had Diggs wide open. He went for the end zone. And then, yeah, he went for the end zone. The guy was wide open and he missed him. Like,
Diggs should have got that one.
no,
He had that.
there was 2 catches, yeah. Diggs had it in his hand, he dropped it, and then there was another one. I forgot who it was when he cut back into the inside, but he couldn't um survive the ground.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I
that
do
wasn't
recall
Shakir,
that
was that?
one.
I don't know if that was Shakir, but
No, that was Shakir in the end zone
No, no,
where
that
he
wasn't
just threw the
Shakir.
ball into the ground.
guys, I'm
Yeah.
talking about that same play,
Hmm.
the last throw where he threw it in the end zone. He had Diggs underneath. They could have just got the first down. There was no need to go for the touchdown. Yeah, he was wide open, dude. You gotta hit it. The Bills had that game. Josh Allen had that game in his hands, and like after that, I don't know what else I can say about the Bills. They were banged up. They had no reason to even be in the game. The fact that they had that opportunity to win, and now this is the third time they didn't do it. You're making Mahomes into the greatest player of all time, man. You're single-handedly handing him every trophy that he's winning.
Hey man, Mahomes' first road playoff game. Wasn't that the big narrative going into this one?
That was a
Yeah.
dumb narrative. That's another media-driven
Hmm.
narrative. The
Yeah.
guy has a better record on the road than he does at home. Just look at his stats in the season.
You just can't bet against a team like KC, man. And Kelsey yesterday, you know, he showed up and snapped, right?
Yeah, like the
Hmm.
Bills
Yep.
defense just, they had third stringers in there. This team was limping into this game. Most of their starters have been on IR for like the last few weeks. Um, the fact that it was a close game, it was good to see. And these teams are drama. I could watch them face each other every week. So, but it was heartbreaking. It was truly heartbreaking. You know, the only thing that'll make this feel better for me is Mark Jackson living up to his MVP and putting a thrashing on these Travis Kelsey Swifties over there in KC.
Oh, Lamar.
Yes, Lamar
Yeah,
Jackson.
we'll see. We'll see. I think you might be surprised with my picks this week and going into
Let's
next
hear it.
week.
Let's hear
Um,
it, man. Just give it to
so
us.
I am so after watching yesterday's game, I am I have shifted away from Baltimore and I'm going KC to make the Super Bowl now.
Oh
And
my.
I wanted I wanted to take Baltimore so bad, especially that D. Like they're gonna cause problems for Mahomes. It's just I think he gets like this like Brady did. He gets, the preferable treatment, right? So any close calls are going to be with him. And then Kelsey, Rice, and Pacheco, those 3 guys are just, playing great. So, and then, they have a good defense. So I'm now with Casey to win well, actually not win the Super Bowl, make it to the Super Bowl right now.
How about you,
Yeah,
Sunny?
I've got KC as well, man. Just watching them yesterday and just them just finding a way to pull it off. That game yesterday, the first 6 drives all had scores.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Right?
was.
So that thing could have gone any which way, but Casey managed to pull, and Casey missed a field goal too. Remember?
Hmm.
So
Hey,
like it's
do we want to remind
it's just
ourselves the
line.
missed field goal
Buffalo
for the
missed two
Bills?
as well.
The
Yeah,
tying field goal?
but KC, man, like it's what we talked about in the earlier episodes. Like it's just pedigree. They just find a way,
I
That's the
think,
thing. I feel like
right?
just like with Brady, with Patrick Mahomes, you can't bet against him, right? We haven't seen him lose those types of games yet. So, you know,
all right, I'm gonna put Casey to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna just straight up take Baltimore. That's straight up feelings over facts. And until I get that KC beat down, I may not watch another football game.
I don't think Jack's gonna. Sorry, not Champ's gonna show up next week if
Yeah,
Casey pulls this one
to
off.
be honest, like you said, feelings over facts. To be honest, there's more going for Baltimore. Baltimore should be like a touchdown favorite, right? The underdogs will be KC. Like Sonny and me are choosing them because of their pedigree, and same thing with the whole Tom Brady thing. Until you beat the man, like you got to prove it, right?
Hey, you
So
know what? I'm gonna do that right now.
I
I'm,
think
I'm
KC right. Baltimore's -3.5 right now.
only 3.5. Wow,
Is that
Well,
that's
true?
right?
interesting.
Yeah,
Let me take a look.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check FanDuel.
I'm checking score bet, so I'm not. FanDuel might have it listed differently, but I saw -3.5
So
for
minus three and
Baltimore.
a half. So we got yeah, -3.5. You're right. So they're opening as KC is paying 2.5 to 1. So I'ma just put $50 on there right now for KC to win. That's a, happiness bet right there. If you guys don't know what that is, the team you want to lose, they end up winning, get a little money. As I mentioned last week, it worked out. We won about $150. We had some tears, but we got some money.
You can
Yeah,
wipe away those tears with the money.
yeah. There you go.
Now for the San Fran Detroit game,
Before we get on
I
San
okay.
Fran and Detroit, let's just touch on Detroit a little bit and the Bucks, just because I think we should talk about Baker Mayfield a little bit. I thought it was a a pretty good comeback story. Like this guy was fighting for his career, he had a great game. Had the stats. It was a tough way for them to lose, but obviously I do think Detroit was the better team.
Yeah, I mean Baker had what 350 yards.
Yeah, he could have had 400 yards plus passing. There was two big drops as well.
Yeah, 3 TDs too, man.
Yeah.
This guy snapped. But yeah, but to your point, like this guy was being laughed out of the league.
Yeah, I just want to give him
He-
a shout out. Like he was playing for his career, literally playing for his career. So he's obviously going to get a contract now. There's no way the Bucks let him go.
Yeah, good for him. Go get that bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, you guys pretty much summed it up. But all the criticism that was against him was fair criticism, right? He in Cleveland, I think he was just a little bit too cocky, and then he bounced around, and
Yeah.
now, he got humbled.
Yeah, he
He
definitely
changed
got
his
humbled.
attitude, right? You could see it in all his press conferences this year,
Yeah.
right? He really switched, like, he did a 180, so yeah, he deserves it. They have great, you have Godwin and Evans still,
Yeah,
right? They're
you got
still
a good
great receivers. You got that speed, so
yeah, and White's been pretty good as a running back too. So yeah, you still got offensively like,
yeah, Rashad White, yeah.
they were pretty good. So he came into a good system, good coaching staff, so that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to give Baker some love there, but yeah, we can move on to San Fran and Detroit.
Yeah, so for this one was also I was with San Fran until I saw that Detroit crowd. And now I have switched to Detroit. Just this weekend. This weekend, from what I've seen from those two teams, KC and Detroit, I now think they meet in the Super Bowl because Detroit, I always knew they had too many weapons. The only thing with Detroit is I feel like if you pressure him, I feel like if they face Baltimore, Baltimore will wreck them just because I think it'll be too much pressure on Goff, right? That he won't be able to throw the ball and then they're going to
Just
stop him.
just remember, this is a road game for Detroit, so they've had that home love for 2 games. Um, I think this is going to be a tough call for Detroit to pull this out in San
No,
Fran.
but even then, I'm like, they were so fired up. That team, they're it's like they're from their coach all the way down to all their players, their fan base. This year, they're just so fired up. I
Yeah.
think, I think they get
They're
there.
going to ride the
That's
momentum.
what I was gonna say. Like that coach has these guys rowdy, riled up, and there's just this this vibe around that team right now, man. And I was saying it even before the season started. I'm like, these guys they're gonna do something special about this, just with how they ended last season.
Well,
And
clearly you're gonna stick with them, so I know
yeah,
where you're
man,
going.
they're a game away from the Super Bowl.
You have them winning the Super Bowl, right?
I have them winning the Super Bowl too.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's out on
That
the
was a
internet. It's there.
crazy call. Sonny had a crazy call, and now they're one game away. One
Yeah,
game away. But
Detroit stand up.
so I guess I'm gonna be the odd man out. I think the win over Green Bay was just a big sigh of relief for San Francisco as a whole, and especially Brock Purdy. He struggled that game. He did not have a good game, and to pull it out and come from behind to win, I think they're going to use that momentum, and I don't think this game's going to be close. So so you guys are calling a KC Detroit Super Bowl, whereas
Yeah.
I got
Yep.
Baltimore San Fran.
The funny thing is, I did have KC in the Super Bowl in my preseason picks. I did have them, so it could happen.
Yeah, we'll leave the Super Bowl because we're gonna have 2 weeks. We're gonna have the, whatever that in between game is called, the so-called All-Star game,
Oh, the
The Pro Bowl.
or whatever.
the Pro Bowl, whatever
Or
that is.
the flag football game.
Yeah, I don't know
they do now.
I don't know how somebody can watch that, but I'm sure probably got bigger ratings than some NBA games. It is the
Yeah.
NFL.
Hey, that skills competition they do is actually entertaining. That's not bad.
Is it?
Yeah, I watched it last year. I was kind of entertained. I didn't mind it.
So we
It
got a
was
couple.
better than the NHL skills competition.
I bet. So we're gonna have a couple weeks, so we could definitely break down the Super Bowl in its own video. Do you guys want to add any last minute comments before we break off?
I mean, so far, I mean, the script has been kind of torn up this year. There's been a lot of twists and turns going into these conference games, but I think regardless of whatever teams get through to the final here, this is going to be a fun game, man.
Yep.
Right?
I think all
yeah.
4 teams, it's going to be, no matter what 2 teams make it, it's going to be super exciting.
Yeah. I mean, you've got stories all over the place. You got Detroit, 35 years between
Yeah.
playoff games, and they're in the conference final now, right? Is Purdy's Linsanity run going to keep going? Who knows?
Yep.
Right? Mahomes going for back-to-back, trying to start that dynasty.
Yes.
Lamar betting on himself, getting the bag and winning a Super Bowl in the same year.
And
There's just so
getting
much
a second
happening.
MVP. Yeah, there's a lot. So they've there's huge storylines for all of them. So it's gonna be interesting who can pull this one out.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
gonna be
has
fun,
something
man.
to gain, yeah.
Yeah, conference finals. They're on what,
Sunday. Yeah, both games.
Sunday.
Both games Sunday, 3 and 6, I think. So
Yep,
Alright.
same
it's
time.
gonna be fun.
6:30
That should be fun, man.
Eastern time.
All right,
And we'll be
everybody.
back.
That's pretty much our rundown of the NFL. Just a reminder, we are gonna be doing a Royal Rumble live cast coming up this weekend.
Oh yeah, Royal
Yeah.
Rumble, baby.
The Rumble's here. It's that time
Let's
of year.
go.
So definitely
Yep.
tune in. We'll probably kick off. What time do you think we're gonna kick off? Like 6, 7?
6 probably, because I think the event starts at 7. But whatever, we'll figure it out, and then we'll post it up on our socials, and we'll let everybody know when the watch long is gonna happen.
All right.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Keep an eye out on those socials, and we'll see you next time.
All right, peace out.